So happy April 23rd. Welcome to Wednesday's V3 implementation call. And right now, currently, you cannot unmute yourself, but shortly we will allow you to unmute yourselves to be involved in the conversation. We're going to go ahead and get started with our meeting today. Uh, John, do you want to go ahead with the stakeholders introduction?
Sure. All right. So I do this every week. It's literally one of my favorite things to do because I love getting to know new people and introducing them to the group. Um, it leads to better connections. We put faces to names and names to faces, and we get to spotlight people and have some fun. But sadly, this week I don't have anybody to introduce. Yikes. So if you've not been introduced, even if you've been around for a while, shoot your phone at this QR code. You can do it on your phone. Um, you can even upload the pictures on the phone. Or I'm going to put the link in chat so that if you want to do it from a computer, or if you think you have, and I've not introduced you for some reason, I'm also going to put my email in chat because there may be a reason I haven't introduced you, like I don't have pictures for you, or it didn't go through and you thought it did. So if you'd like to be introduced, or if you'd like to be reintroduced as somebody else, hey, just let me know. Um, Other than that, that's all I have. So back to you, Jen.
Thanks, John. And remember, anyone can do this. You can be an agency and have yourself introduced. You're all stakeholders. You can be a state person. You can be a vendor. And it's kind of nice. This is a great way to get your face out there. We always have a lot of turnover, as you all know, in the vendor community and the state community, especially in that EMS data manager's position. We have new people rotating in and out all the time. So it just gives you a good opportunity for people to start getting to know you. Um, and like John said, if you've been around for a long time, we all know you. You've been around, we've been around, but there will be new people that may not know you. So it's a great way just to get your name out there. I encourage everyone to do it. Let's go ahead and move to the next item on the agenda. Chris Huffman, you're going to talk about the email, whitelisted NEMSIS emails.
Correct. Let me share my screen here, and I've got a couple of resources for you. So, thank you, Jen. We've had some communication from stakeholders saying that every once in a while there is a NEMSIS email that comes out from us that does not get all the way to the intended recipient. And so, what previously it was hard to tell whether those emails were going out because of the system that we were working with. Since most of our emails now go out with Mailchimp, we're a lot better at being able to see when emails are actually sending from the system. So a lot of times when we're troubleshooting whether the emails actually get there or not, sometimes what we're finding out is that there is an overzealous um spam filter somewhere along the way that is incorrectly marking our emails as spam. So I wanted to let people know these are some steps that you can take to make sure that NEMSIS emails are getting all the way to your inbox. So whitelisting the email. This is something you can do on your client, and depending on which kind of email you're using. The Whether it's Outlook, Gmail, all of them have some sort of way to do this. I have a link on here, and I'm going to post it in the chat. That is a guide here for all the different popular types of email systems. The example I have up here is for the different types of Outlook desktop clients. When you receive an email, there should be a banner underneath the name that says something to the effect of download pictures, say Outlook has automatically not downloaded some of these images. If you click on that, you'll see an option in there that says add sender to safe senders list. And that should make it so that the client on your computer will let marked emails come through from at nemsis.org. And you can say the sender is safe, and you can actually say the domain is safe. So if you say add the domain at nemsis.org, you can see it's the fourth choice in Outlook in the menu system there. That will mean that anybody that sends you something from at nemsis.org, the client on your machine won't mark it as spam. Now, there's another level to this, that there are a bunch of spam filters that are before your computer. So if you whitelist something that's at the end of the email, that's one block that's being taken out of the way. There are spam filters that you have in your organization that are way before your client. There's a ton of spam emails that you never know actually comes to your client, and that's another place where you can say whitelisting. To do that, I always suggest to people that you email whoever your email administrator is, whoever your Outlook, Gmail, whoever your admin is, and say, will you please add at nemsis.org to the safe sender or whitelist, so that then if there is a block that's happening before it ever even gets to your client, that's another way to remove an obstacle from those emails getting through to your client. So that is, like I said, we've been a few times, not every time, but a few times when we've troubleshot this down, this has helped. And so we just wanted to make this aware for people. Like I said, I'll put this link to this guide into the chat, and you can also get it from this QR code. And give me just a second here. I will. And that.
Thank you, Chris.
And that's it for me.
I know that there's quite a few people that have contacted us within the last, I'd say 4 to 6 weeks that weren't getting some of the notices. So this is perfectly timed. Thank you very much.
Yes.
All right. So next on our agenda today, Bengie, do you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about the state page updates that are going on?
Yes. Thanks, Jen. I will screen share. Okay, well, thank you, Jen, for calling me out. So the state implementation timeline, we've sent out the survey for all of the state data managers to complete the survey to notify us of their date or their anticipated date for the implementation timeline. So if you have not received this survey, I have the link in the chat. Thank you to those who've already responded. If you do not get the opportunity or the chance to complete the survey by May 9th, you can open up a help desk ticket so that we can help update your state's pages for you on the NEMSIS website. Yeah, if you have any questions, or I've had some people who said that they were not able to access the Google form. You can open up a help desk ticket and we can do our very best to help you complete the questions. And if you have any further questions regarding this, as always, like I mentioned earlier, you can open a help desk ticket so we can help you. And Chris, if you're ready, I will turn it over to you. Wait, I'm sorry. Yeah, Chris, if you're ready, I can turn it over to you.
I think maybe he shared with me the map. Is that what he was going to share? Or you were going to even share? I'll take that as the next topic.
Oh, okay.
Thanks,
All right.
Bengie.
I'll put the link in the chat. Thanks, Lauri.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Well, I think that was a perfect way to segue over to Lauri's next topic, which is the V351 tracking.
Yep. And can you guys see the map here? Oh, not yet. Share. Now can you see the map?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
perfect. So Chris did create this mock-up. Thank you, Chris. And our plan, as Benji was saying, as states are beginning to think about when they're making that transition to 351, we thought rather than change a different color, we're going to just change states to a striped green. So you can see here, this is a mock-up again of Alabama submitting 351 data, which has not happened yet, but we're unsure who will be the first state to get to turn striped green. But this is our plan, and we will not track critical patch updates. If someone updates to 350 and the critical patch, we won't show that on this map necessarily. But we do have another place on your state page, and let me show you a plan for how we will update that. As Bengie mentioned, we've sent out the survey. So states, if you know your plan to make these changes or when you will be accepting data, we are happy to update that on your state page. It'll look something like this. So number one, that's a lot of letters and numbers, basically to say 350 critical patch. And then number two is the date you'll be accepting for 351 critical patch. And if you know a date, you can say that. If you know a quarter of the year or kind of a targeted time frame, you can say that as well. And then again, if those plans change, just let us know from the help desk ticket and we can update your state page at any time there. So that is our plan to help states. And again, we always fall back to, we encourage states and vendors to communicate, let each other know when you'll be ready or what your plans are so that everyone in your state can plan accordingly. I think that is all for that topic. And I have the next topic as well, so I can roll into that. And let me close out some windows here and pull up my notes. And the next topic is we had made a recommendation on the last V3 call that then after talking to some of you and internally some more, we realized that there was a problem with that recommendation for the pain study. And let me put that link in chat if anyone wants to check out the study and see if your state is currently participating. There are 8 states currently participating. It's possible that more trauma centers in other states will be added as well. And so I want to kind of keep this on your radar. And our revised recommendations after a few internal meetings this week is that one option would be that you could extend e-medication 03 or the medication administered with a national custom value. We recognize there may be a cost to that to states from EPCR vendors. And so a second option is that we have discovered, or really Felicia, we should say in Utah discovered, that there's an RX norm code that was recommended, and the code number is 284656. The problem with that is that it is a cataloged or a retired RX norm code. So it's labeled as analgesic pain, excuse me, analgesic pain reliever. So again, it's not a current concept as it was retired in 2018, but the EMS description, the people that are running this study are suggesting that EMS description would just read pain study drug, and this would not cause the record to fail. So this is a possible recommendation as well, and would not cost anything for the states to implement that. So that's a quick summary. Jen or Josh, is there anything you would add to that? Or we're curious, I think, if states have any other recommendations or something that you have tried or discovered as well.
Yeah, I see a few of our state data managers on the call that are participating in, or at least have hospitals within their states that are participating in this LIGHTS pain study. So have you already implemented something in your system? Have you moved forward with it? Are you having issues? How's it going?
Yeah, if you guys can hear me. I just added in that pain analgesic, how do you say that word? I added that one in and just changed the name to say pain study for I can't speak at all today, the variable name. So, and I don't think they're sending any data yet, but I can check with our, at least the one provider I know that's going to send us over information agency-wise.
It's Felicia. Any other states who are involved in this have something you've tried? Thank you, Josh. Yeah, Josh put the code number there. Okay, sounds good.
And Lauri, I'm curious
Yeah.
if vendors look in their systems, is this a code that they've loaded in sometime in the past? Because NEMSIS 3 has been around a while now, so maybe they do have this code in their systems or not. So yeah, I think it'd be interesting to hear from vendors after they go check their databases.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for that recommendation, Josh.
Yeah, so Josh, hey, just real quickly. So I'm sorry, this is Clay. So you're saying, right, that we'd want to be careful, right? Because it could be that if this is a code that's still active, right, it may look like it would be hard to distinguish, just kind of a past use of this code versus use of this code for this specific study, right? Is that kind of what you're saying?
I guess what I'm saying is this is a code that was archived by RxNorm and is no longer in there. It's in their archived file. You can find it there, but it's not in their current file. So we can be confident that they're not going to reuse this code and assign it to something else again in the future. So, it'll refer to analgesic pain medication, and that's great. But I don't know if vendors have loaded this code into their databases just because of the fact that it's been archived by RxNorm. And using it means you're using a code that's no longer in RxNorm. So, it's not great, but might be the best of 3 or 4 bad options that we've looked at.
And it could have been used in the past for something else, right? Because it is generic analgesic pain medication. So just knowing, the date range, that's the danger of using something that exists without tying it back to, a custom value, although the custom value it could get tied back to isn't great either, right? Because it's too, in the case of this pain study, it happens to be 2 medications and you don't know which one you're given.
Yeah, right. So hopefully this code, if it was ever used in the past, it was in fact used for analgesic pain medications. But, an agency might want to know, hey, between 2025 and 2026, every time we used this code, this was for the pain study, that specific study.
So NEMSIS people, do you guys get the value, like the value name if we change the name, or just the code only when we send data over?
Yeah, just the code.
Just the code. Yeah.
And then I guess just like I didn't suggest this. I think it seemed like either our agency did or the Pittsburgh people suggested it to our EMS agency to use that. So I'm not sure how that started, but they hadn't really been aware of what you guys were suggesting when I brought that up with them. They're like, oh, that's new to us. We suggest using this. So who knows?
Yeah, we spent a little bit of time trying to track that down to make sure we knew where the recommendation was coming from.
All right, so it sounds like the next step, if vendors wouldn't mind letting us know if that code is in your system currently loaded, might be a good next step.
Lauri, I think you have another item as well.
Yeah, we are going to move on to the next topic, which is actually not on our agenda because it is a bit of a surprise, but we wanted to take a few moments today and really pay tribute to Eric Cheney. As you may have heard, he announced on our last call that he's going to be retiring from the Office of EMS at NHTSA by the end of the month. And so we have a little slideshow. I think Clay is going to speak some during the slideshow. That thank you for everyone who contributed some pictures, and thank you to Chris for putting this together. And then we have a few people that we invited to share a couple words as well. So let me start the slideshow here and share my screen. All right, can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
All right, I'll pass it to you, Clay.
Okay, great. Yeah, and we'll certainly open this up if folks would like to share a comment in regards to the great work that Eric has done while he's been here with us. Lauri, we're not seeing the slides move. I just wanted to make sure you kind of knew
I
that.
think it's on a timer, but let me see here.
Okay, good.
Um,
So yeah, I can certainly begin. I've been involved with NEMSIS for a number of years, and the Office of EMS has provided liaisons, folks associated and responsible for NEMSIS. Susan, Noah, Jeremy for a while now. Great to have Jeremy back, and Eric as well. Eric has been an outspoken advocate for EMS and particularly for NEMSIS at the federal level. We were very lucky to have Eric associated with our project as we were coming out of COVID. I think COVID provided for states and providers, and at the federal level, right, their eyes were opened as to what was the impact and potential of NEMSIS as a surveillance system, a community level surveillance system. And thanks to the great work that Eric did advocating at the federal level, right, we were able to be an important part of federal initiatives, including White House initiatives, to be able to curb the overdose kind of epidemic that we're facing in this country. We now provide data to ONDCP, the Office for Drug Control Policy at the White House, for the CDC, for heat-related issues, injury-related issues, and to HHS, who are using our data to track mass casualties. So clearly, Eric's work to socialize NEMSIS, help NEMSIS, or help folks to recognize that NEMSIS is something that is for you, that it's something that you can reach out and use at all levels of care and administration, has been really some of the highlights that Eric has brought. I can't thank him enough for his approach. I mean, he's got kind of that, I don't know whether it's a deep South or Northern kind of approach that's just friendly and draws people in. And I think he's been able to really help people understand a lot clearer what's the value of NEMSIS and what is the value of collecting EMS data at the state level and at the national level. So I'm personally very, very grateful for Eric's contribution that he's made, and I'm incredibly sad that he'll be leaving us. I know that he will miss us, and we will certainly miss him. I know there's some folks that wanted to share some comments. Please feel free to do so.
Yeah. I'll just call on people. Amber, did you want to go first?
Sure, of course. I can't share my video, but that's probably better anyways. So I just get to be a name that's speaking in the background. But thanks for giving the opportunity, and these are always, I think, tough to do virtually. So Eric, I hope you're here and listening. But I suppose today we're celebrating the retirement of someone who's made a lasting impact, not only on NEMSIS and the DMC, but also on many of us personally. For those of you who don't know Eric, his dedication to EMS was unmatched. His passion for the work, his constant availability, and deep commitment to doing the right thing made him someone we could all rely on. Whether it was navigating complex challenges or cutting through the noise of bureaucracy, Eric has had a gift for getting things done and getting things done really well. I was lucky enough to work closely with Eric, and even luckier to maybe call him a friend. His transparency and honesty made every conversation that we had really meaningful. And he was someone I could always turn to when I needed a direct and honest perspective. And I know many of us felt the same way. So we're excited for the next chapter in Eric's journey, whatever that may be. There's no doubt that he leaves behind giant shoes to fill. Eric, we know you will continue to do great things because that's just who you are. But you'll be deeply missed here, and we're so grateful for everything you've done and brought to NEMSIS and the DMC, EMS overall, and to each one of us personally. So congratulations and best wishes on the road ahead, Eric.
Good, thank you for that, Amber. Let's see, Jay, are you on today? I think he was unsure if he'd be able to join. If not, we'll pass to Keenan. Keenan, are you here? Or maybe he can't unmute. Can we make sure he can unmute? All right.
I'm sorry, I was on
Oh,
two meetings at the same time. Also, I didn't prepare any notes. I think that um what what Amber said rings very, very true. I think that every time we've interacted, we've had the great fortune to be heard and respected, and we felt like um, at the national level we were very well represented. And I think that that's kind of a testament to having providers and folks who've actually worked in the field as part of the overall leadership. And so I'm very grateful to have worked with them, and we'll hopefully stay in touch. And thank you for all that you've done.
thank you, Keenan. And I don't see Chris Montera on the call. Is Joe Groff here, or anyone from Image Trend want to say a few words?
Lori, I just spoke with Joe. He's double
Okay.
booked, but
Okay.
he wanted me to speak on his behalf and just say how much we appreciate Eric and everything he's done for this industry. And we have great love for Eric Cheney. So thank you for everything you've done. And I echo everything that Keenan and Amber said. So thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Kelly. And then we'll just open it up. Is there anyone else on the call that would like to say a few words or farewell tribute to Eric?
This is Karen Jacobson. I would like to say a few things. It was so hard to lose Susan McHenry, but when Eric, and I'm going to say, came to NHTSA office of EMS, it was great. Clay and I already knew him from other government projects. And, it was just so wonderful to have Eric come in with, I'll say his other contacts and just his overall experience. He was able to bring to the NEMSIS TAC and obviously NHTSA's Office of EMS so much outside experience, and he just kind of made it now, if you will. His involvement was great. He brought things forth that, I think NHTSA's Office of EMS and the NEMSIS TAC hadn't considered before. And so he was just a great asset to EMS nationally and to the TAC. And I really appreciate everything you did for us.
Thank you, Karen. And Jonathan, I see you have your hand up. Looks like he's driving possibly. Do you want to try, Jonathan?
Yeah, good morning. Hi, thanks for letting me say it. Just kind of funny. I actually still vividly remember the first time I met Eric live in person. It was actually at the EMS and ONC conference the month before COVID exploded. We were down in DC. So I feel like we've all been in the trenches, all of us here, certainly Erica, but everybody here in the trenches together over the last 5+ years, if you can believe that's gone on. So I've always admired that Eric is a man of, I say is because I don't think this is changing. He is a man of candor. He is a man who has been extremely visionary, I think, and has an approach to just getting her done. And I, for one, certainly in an ecosystem where there are lots and lots of stakeholders, as we know, I have always appreciated that willingness to say what really matters here, and how do we focus on that and get it done. So certainly all the thanks on behalf of a grateful industry and profession. Thank you to Eric, and thank you to all of you. And we will all continue to carry on that torch.
Thank you, Jonathan. Anyone else like to say a few words?
This is Lauren Hogg from Zoll. You know, I always have something to say. But I would like to say that the one reason that has allowed me to do that is when I was a field provider, I believe I saw your name in a white paper, and it was you who actually inspired me to want to be able to move EMS. I felt like you had an innovative mindset. Um, that you were the first person that allowed me to believe that we could really change an entire EMS system of care. The way that you carried it throughout all of the stakeholders, you relate to people that are running calls in the streets all the way up to all the way up to the top of NHTSA and the DOT and government officials. The way that you care about EMS really, really shines through, but I believe that it was you who inspired my whole career to want to be able to um, change the way that we work together through all the states and agencies. So I would just like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It was a real pleasure being able to work alongside you.
Thank you, Lauren. Very heartfelt. Anyone else? Otherwise, I see Eric, you came off
Please,
mute
please,
there.
no one else have anything to say.
Eric, this is Anne. I want to say one more thing, although I don't think I could ever beat what Lauren said, so like maybe I should just not, but I've been thinking about this since I saw your announcement, and I think, you brought so much, you brought positivity kind of with your sense of humor, which I loved, because even when you were trying to basically tell us we needed to get it in gear, you were always so funny about it, and you had the best stories. And you had a really important ability to kind of get us out of the weeds and refocus so that we could actually move forward and get something done, which is I don't know about anyone else, but I feel like sometimes we get really interested in what we're talking about. We don't always actually get to the end goal. And I think that was a super important thing you brought to our team. And I felt like everyone felt heard and equally important and supported, no matter whether they were a vendor or a state, whether they were new or they'd been in the, industry a long time. And I think that really empowered people to feel like they could speak up and be relevant and of value to the conversation. So just thank you for bringing those things.
You, Anne.
Thanks to all of you. Really, this was not I've told the story a million times. It wasn't a career decision I made. It was a career decision John Kramer made for me. And I was reluctant. It took 3 strikes before I finally said, okay, I'll do it. Ask me to tell you that story sometime, or ask John to tell you. It's even funnier. But it's when I first started working with everyone, it was really strange because this isn't a world that I know. And I had vague memories of going into the data manager's room at the NEMSIS conferences, and there were more computers and laptops and cell phones laying around, and you guys always worked longer than everybody else. You were like the last persons to check out, and it was really I really didn't have an expectation starting out, and I tell people all the time, there's no roadmap for NEMSIS, and there's nothing else to compare it to. So everything that's happened is because someone in this room said, hey, why don't we do this? Or why don't we consider this? Or could we do something like this? And, my role in this, I've joked with Clay and them, has just been to run my mouth and try to find money. We've been successful. And it has nothing really to do with me other than pointing at what your work is. I don't do the work. I don't understand the data all the time. What I do know is that you're like the unsung heroes of the EMS system. Everything that these guys do, the state directors, the medical directors, at some point rely on your work. You're underfunded, you're under-resourced, you're understaffed. And I keep telling everybody that, regardless of the meeting that I'm in. especially when they start saying, "Oh, we'll just do this, or we'll just do that, or we'll ask people to do this, or we'll ask people to do that." And my response is, "Who? Who?" This might be a half-time FTE in the Department of Health's office, who's also responsible for the credentialing and for the licensing and certification of the services and so on else in the state. I've had that experience. It sucks. You need help, you need resources to grow. And I think that's where we've proven the value in what you're doing now. I no longer hear questions about NEMSIS data. People are like, "Oh, it's in NEMSIS. Oh, it's gospel. Let's move forward." And that's a testament to your work, not mine. Um, I've had fun working with all of you. I really have. There's frustrating times. There's really good times. There's been successful projects, and there's been projects that I really wanted to move forward. You know what? And they didn't. And that doesn't mean that they're off the table. That just means I have them in a folder somewhere and I pass them along to Jeremy. And at some point, he has the opportunity to throw them out there. We'll put them back out. The administration, regardless of your political affiliation now, has changed things in government beyond anything that I've ever experienced, and I think anyone's ever experienced. How that's going to play out for NEMSIS and how that's going to play out for EMS, that story hasn't been written yet. But I think you all can write it. There's no one that can dispute what you do. You're the most apolitical data out there. Think about it. For us to change or to side with a political affiliation, I'd have to convince 14,000 ambulance services to do something. And we know what that's like, trying to get all of them to do the same thing. It's not going to happen. So I just tell you the same thing I told the TAC and the same thing I told the data managers. I'll just say it again. I'm very proud to have worked with all of you. My expectation is 3 years from now, you grow this beyond anything that we have today. And that'll make me feel like this was just a huge success story in my career. And I thank all of you for that. So with that, please tell me we have other agenda items that we can move on to.
And for everyone who put some beautiful words into chat, we will print those out and provide those to Eric as well. You've all said such wonderful things.
Sounds good. Yeah, thank you, Eric. We just echo all of that. We appreciate your leadership, your friendship, and we will carry the torch and go on to make you proud, hopefully. All right, I'll pass it back to you, Jen.
I'm still in a bit of denial, so that's why I'm just moving on with this meeting because I'm gonna pretend like it's business as usual and everything will be the same on May 1st. So my job now, after all of that, is to remind everyone of the upcoming events that we have coming. And we have Public Training Tuesday, May 6th, talking about using hospital outcome data. This has been something, we all just said great, wonderful things about Eric. This has been a really part of the project that's been near and dear to his heart, is about getting this outcome data all the way from the agency level, the EPCR vendors, to the states so that they have it, and then to the national level. And so the upcoming event and the training will be about the hospital outcome data and using it. I'd also like to take this minute to remind everyone that's a vendor that's on this call. It is a pink week. That means that we have some vendors that need to stay after and go into their breakout rooms. That's Action Ambulance, the Center for Advanced Public Safety, Documed, Elevos, Emergency Networking, Forte, Image Trend, Macrologic, Sansio, and Waters. So please remember to attend the vendor breakout session right after we finish the V3 implementation agenda. Everyone knows that you need to be respectful in these meetings. This is a collect and send week. So if you are not one of those vendors that I named, please remember, if you go into a room, you need to announce yourself and let them know you are there. You may just be removed from a room if you do not. The vendors, the collect and send vendors for the EPCR, get to decide if they have other vendors in their room that week. And our upcoming meeting, the next V3 implementation call, is May 14th. That is the second Wednesday of May. And that takes us to open forum. Is there anything anyone would like to bring up or discuss, or a topic? Clay, I think I saw you come off mute.
Yeah, Jen, there's just a couple of comments in the chat. Kevin asked if there's a link to the training that Josh is doing. on the 6th?
There will be a link. It will come out with a reminder.
Great. And then Karin also asked a very good question, right? Do we know that hospitals, ODMAP, CARES, billing integrations, and others, wherever EMS data goes, are they able to accept the new sex element? We've received a number of comments, and from Arizona, others about who is are we kind of connecting with to ensure that there's kind of connectivity across billing and across who's supposed to make the full transition to the new elements. If an EMS agency receives federal funding, are they expected to fully comply? We're still we have really no solid information related to those issues, right? Everyone I think has tried to make their moves to meet the executive orders, and there's not been a lot of like synergy among the groups that have been trying to do this so quickly. So we'll kind of buckle down, Karin, and we'll check with CARE, we'll check with ODMAP, and just make sure that they kind of understand the change that's been made. In regards to other federal agencies or what are the expectations of states or federal agencies, we have no additional information. We've received no direction to pass on in any way. So I hope that helps, Karin.
Yes, thank you. In essence, a little muddy yet.
Yeah, it's still very muddy.
Are there any other items for open forum? You can come off mute and speak, or you can put them into the chat. Jonathan, I saw your hand go up.
Hi. Yeah, I'll be brief, but a couple of things. I think, for all the discussion on things like interoperability, it's worth celebrating some milestones. And there will be some more announcements coming that hopefully this group will see. But in the last week, Asbel Montez, who I'm sure a lot of people here know, did a podcast with Eric Beck of ESO. First and foremost, it was a phenomenal discussion. It was a podcast from the Solutions Group and Fire Engineering Magazine. If anyone has not watched it, I definitely recommend you watch it. It was fantastic. And one of the topics that was referenced there is the notion of interoperability, data mining, data access, data sharing, really in an agnostic fashion. And so I wanted to take a quick second to celebrate our friends at ESO and ImageTrend and Zoll, all of which have been involved with BLT in California in interoperability projects over the last several months. One set of those was just announced. So to the degree that I can't send it right now, but I'm happy to send out the link to the group where we announced integration with health information exchanges in California with both ESO and Zoll. And coming up in about a week, I anticipate putting out an announcement about several of those involving both ESO and ImageTrend. I'm going to try to time that announcement to align with the State Health IT Conference taking place in New Orleans next week, because certainly there are large statewide health information exchanges that are looking to basically that are either looking to include EMS or in the case of Missouri, recently made an announcement about a broad-based interoperability initiative on behalf of folks with disabilities and other special health needs that does not mention EMS or fire and should. So in both of those cases, we want to herald what is being done and point out where this community is still missing. And so I'm all about right now trying to celebrate where collaboration is happening. Again, it was a big topic in this podcast, but it's not theoretical. It's happening right now, and there are agencies of all stripes that are participating, public, private, EMS, fire, community paramedicine, that are sharing with these HIEs actively and automated. And so hopefully we can start a trend that goes even further, because there's a lot of these happening right now, but certainly not all 50 states.
Thank you
So
so
that
much,
is it.
John. Because
Congratulations to our friends.
you're right. It is important to highlight when everyone gets together and they work on these projects, and that is something that I have seen grow over the last few years. Just that camaraderie between the vendors and between the states, and trying to get those health information exchanges up and running, and interoperability moving forward. So thank you so much, Jonathan. Were there any other topics, or are we I think we're about ready to go into the breakout rooms. I do want to remind you that if no one goes into your vendor breakout room after 10 minutes, you are welcome to go ahead and leave, but you must be there for at least 10 minutes. The breakout rooms should show up at the bottom. Chris, are they ready to go? There they are. All right. So if you scroll down on this list, find the vendor that you want to go into and click on join. Have a great rest of your day for those of you who are leaving us, and we will see you next time. Thank you.